Good evening, teachers and all lovely audience. Please let me introduce our members. First, 311 Phimphakan Bunthongkaeo, and the second member is 316 Rachawadee Meensun. We would like to present our survey research called Attitudes of Teachers and Students in Bachelor School Towards English Vocabulary Teaching Methods in Distance Learning. Nowadays, learning English is necessary. However, teaching English in Thailand is still failing because learners still cannot communicate in English. It is reflected by the statistic of the Ordinary National Educational Test, or ONET, which was below the standard. The key point is that vocabulary is a key indicator of student success in school on standardized tests and in real life. Accordingly, these test takers has a smaller vocabulary bank than English native speakers. Furthermore, teaching English as a second language in Thailand is challenging now with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many educational institutes must be transformed entirely to distance learning. In addition, the researchers had an opportunity to observe an online English class at Bachelor school. It was found that most students cannot recognize many vocabularies and they ignore the teacher's questions, inferring that the students' attitudes toward the class were negative. So far, there are 3 lessons to be drawn from this. First, teachers need XLA-related vocabulary teaching methods. Second, they must cover the majority of vocabularies that students need outside classroom. And finally, teachers need online vocabulary teaching methods that can change their attitudes in a positive direction. Thus, we survey teachers and students in Bachelor school so that there will be further improvement in students' vocabulary banks and attitudes by creating a guideline of the English vocabulary teaching methods in distance learning. Next, the research objectives. Firstly, we would like to study English vocabulary teaching methods of teachers in Bachelor school in distance learning. Secondly, we would like to examine the attitudes of teachers and students in Bachelor school towards the English vocabulary teaching methods in distance learning. Finally, we would like to create the English vocabulary teaching methods guideline in distance learning. Next, research methodology. We use mixed method, which is quantitative method combined with qualitative method. Next, participants. Participants are 297 people from 1,300 people, including English teachers and students from Bachelor school. We calculated from the table for determining sample size from a given population from Cressy and Morgan. Next, instrument design. We designed 2 questionnaires, which were teacher's questionnaire and student's questionnaire. Firstly, the teacher's questionnaire was adapted from lesson. The questionnaire consists of 4 parts. The first part was informed consent. The second part was general information. It included 2 items, which is the age and the experience year. The third part was statements about teachers' attitudes toward English vocabulary teaching methods. It included 10 statements. The last part was teachers' online vocabulary teaching methods in distance learning. We asked them in open question. Next, the students' questionnaire was adapted from Lawsmate. The questionnaire consists of 3 parts. The first part was informed consent, the same as the teacher questionnaire. The second part was general information. It included 2 items, which were the age and the study period in weeks. The last part was statements about students' attitudes toward English vocabulary teaching method. It included 10 statements. The questionnaire was designed in both Thai and English to make it more understandable for the student. The next step is validation of instrument. We sent all questionnaire with IOC assessment forms to 3 experts and then analyzed the IOC assessment result from the experts. then edited the questionnaire following the expert suggestion. For the data collection procedure, the questionnaire was placed in Google Form and distributed to English teachers and students at Bachelor school, whom gathered in a group chat via Line application. Then, all completed questionnaires were collected, and then we analyzed the data using statistical analysis and content analysis. Next, the research results. The first part is the result of the teacher's questionnaire. The general information of the participants show that in the age range between 20 to 29, we have two participants equal to 40%, and it's the same as the age range of 30 to 39%. For the experience year of teaching English, we have most participants, or 80%, from the experience year range between 1 year to 9 years. The next part is the teacher's attitudes towards English vocabulary teaching methods. The attitudes of the participants overall were agree, which you can see that the mean equal to 3.88 and the standard deviation equal to 1.018, which means the teachers found that the SLA, student-centered methods, are appropriate in distance learning. Next, please listen for more from Rachawadee.
The third one is teacher's online English vocabulary teaching method. According to the teacher's answer, teachers at Bachelor school consider changing the teaching environment to the visual one and using a variety of media to enhance students' contact in the lesson. Teacher and student engage in learning activities together using media, materials, and learning tools. Therefore, this shows that teachers at Bachelor school use a student-centered teaching approach during online learning. Next is the result of the student questionnaire. The first part of it is general information of the participants. All participants, or 83.5%, were in the age range of 10 to 12 years old, and 16.5% were in the age range of 7 to 9 years old. Most participants study the English language only once a week. Meanwhile, 31.65% study twice a week, followed by 22.9% study 3 to 4 times per week. The second part is students' attitude towards English vocabulary teaching method in distance learning. The attitudes of participants were agreed. Most of the SLA student-centered type items have results that indicate more average score. Students found that SLA student-centered is appropriate in distance learning. Next is the guideline of English vocabulary teaching method in distance learning. The finding indicated that some students were neutral toward learning. Teachers need teaching methods to encourage the student. Thus, we created the guideline according to the solution. Let's move to the next topic, discussion. The first research question is, what are the English vocabulary teaching methods that the teacher from Bachelor school use in distance learning? The teacher used a student-centered teaching approach during online learning. They consider changing the environment by using a variety of media tools to enhance student context. The results of the study are consistent with the study of Haslam and Al-Jaf. The result of these two research supported that student-centered teaching approach helps students to have engagement and learn better than using the traditional teaching approach. The second one is, what are the attitudes among teachers and students towards vocabulary teaching method in distance learning? The attitudes of teachers and students toward English vocabulary teaching method were positive. They thought that the SLA student-centered teaching method is appropriate in distance learning. The results of the study are consistent with the study of lesson. The SLA student-centered teaching method can receive positive attitude from teacher and student. The last research question is, what method can improve the elementary student attitude in distance learning? Some students were neutral toward learning about their culture and lifestyle, and to allow themselves to make mistakes. Teachers need teaching methods that can encourage and improve those attitudes. The findings of this research are consistent with the theories of Thaksin and Chomsky. They show that teachers need to develop students to have more self-esteem and learn naturally by connecting the students' daily lives context to the lesson. Let's move to the conclusion. Teachers at Bachelor School use a student-centered teaching approach during online learning. Also, teacher and student attitudes were positive. However, some students were neutral toward learning. To improve those attitudes, teachers need teaching methods that can encourage the student. The last topic is recommendation. For further research, it should include more participants from other elementary schools to examine and compare the differences between teacher and student attitude, and should include the participant English vocabulary test to investigate whether their attitude and English vocabulary ability are related to each other or not. Moreover, it should include an investigation of the English vocabulary teaching method in distance learning by comparing efficiency between teacher-centered and SLA student-centered. And it should include interviews and observation regarding the online English structured classroom to collect more in-depth data. That's all for our research. Thank you for your attention.